Okay, so on day 9, I'm actually going to, or is this day 8? Day 8 or day 9? I think it's day 9. I'm gonna actually take all the measurements from this window. Everything, remember I wrote everything down right there. And if worse comes to worse, I saved the one piece of metal that my rough draft was on. I'm just gonna transfer all that to this bottom portion of the wood right here. Now I didn't even put anything into this end right here right now, because I'm actually gonna have to take off, unscrew the door on 2 of the hinges because they're bolted into this extra piece that was added on. All right, so I didn't get that size right now. I'm gonna do the measurements, and I want to try to get this window framed headed this way, and I'll add all that on when I get to that way. So with the window, I gotta measure the distance from the end right here, that's the main beam, to the beginning of this pole, and then another one to the beginning of this pole right here. Because remember how I did those ends, I did the full ones all the way first, the full ones to give me the 36-inch width first, and then from there, then I went from there with whatever 16s on center. So I'm gonna start by measuring the end of this pole, whatever distance, and the end of this pole that way, to make sure I got the exact window transpired on this side. Now the actual window opening, that pole right there is the window opening. See, go straight up. So the window opening is actually 16 inches from the end of that pole. So what I'm gonna pull is this way and go 16 inches in and put my marking and start drawing the picture right here, how I'm gonna frame everything the opposite coming this way. All right, the window opening is 16 inches, so I measured the 16-inch line. This is the start of the window opening, so therefore I'm gonna have a 2x4 right here. Now I know the window is 36-inch rough opening, so there's a 36-inch rough opening. So 36 inches from here, I'm gonna mark this also, because the end of this is gonna be a 2x4 right here, and the end of this is gonna be a 2x4 right here. And I know that's the width of the window, and that's exactly how I started with this one. See that where the header is up there? That was actually a main beam that I cut the header into, but I already had the cripple left at the top when I did it. So I had that framed, I had the whole window framed, and then I added this beam, the end beams onto it, and then I cut the header in with a vibrating saw. So I know this right here is gonna be 36 inches. So I'm gonna line this, which I did, get my square, and square that off. And then, since it was a 10-foot high opening, I'm gonna do the same measurements on the ceiling to know exactly where my 2x4s are gonna be. I did the same markings right here. It's gonna be the exact same distance from this pillar this way and that pillar that way. Here's gonna be a difference on the end though. On the end over here, when the door opens up, once the drywall it is in and the finishing, it's gonna look a little bit closer to this side, but the reality of it is centered. But now this line isn't going to be the 16-inch on center. This is going to be the 2x4 is going to be sitting on this side of it, because this that's lined in is the rough opening I'm using for the window. Don't forget, this one right here is not going to be on center when you mark it. This is going to be 36 inches separated in between. So this way, that's the rough opening of the window. That's the rough opening of the window. Now why I'm not measuring all of them and I'm doing it one by one, because when I hit those nails in, I know sometimes something shifts, so I measure them one by one, and I'm gonna put them up one by one, hit the bottom ones in first, and all I do is toenail them in. And if you don't try this big project if you don't got an air gun, and I got a Harbor Freight air gun and a Harbor Freight compressor. I stress that all the time. Have a construction nail gun, 3-inch nails at 90 psi if you got that gun right there. Studs 45, my studs 36 inches apart, because my window is 36 inches apart. Those are going to be the main beams. What the window is, actually they're going to turn into a cripple. That's this main beam right here. Main beam right here, what's holding up the header. So that's what that is right there. But you got a sister to it, so you got to make sure these are as flush as you can get them with the hammer, maintaining that distance. Right now, today, I'm actually going to do the rest of the cripples on the bottom and make this header right here. This header and these cripples is what I'm doing today. So when you're playing around hitting these in, because you gotta put something up against it. You see, you throw it offline, so then you put it back online the best you can. There's offline, back online. Same thing to the top. All right, I want my window to be the same height as over there. So from the floor up, it's at 36 inches. So make sure this one's 36 inches, should be the same, exact same, 36 inches. So that's from the ground floor. So I'm gonna mark both of these studs over here at 36 inches. I mark both of these at 36 inches, so both windows are the same height. And then I'm gonna measure this first ledger board and put it in right at 36 inches like I did over there. All right, I got my lined headers here, 3 feet off the ground, right on the money. I put extra screws in there because it was a little bit loose, extra nails. Now I'm doing the cripples. There's gonna be 2 cripples on this side, 2 cripples on this side, and I got to measure the 16-inch off of center in here like I did in this one. And you do want something anyways holding the weight, and it's just shot down in the side right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure my cripples now. Cut my cripples. What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trev2323. Just tripped on some wires. Let's face it, whenever you go to the lumber yard and get lumber, as much as you try to get them all straight, or even if you order them, they send, they're not all straight. So what you do is when you get to the lumber yard, you look down and see that one got a very tiny curve in it. So when you're framing a window, like I'm framing the windows right here, make sure you get the straightest ones that are gonna line up on the inside of your window. Hold on real fast. Like the straightest ones to line up inside of your windows. And then this way, the little curved ones that you get, you could use for your little cripples on the inside, and the curve won't be as much on these little windows as it would have been on the long stretches. Talk to you later. Subscribe, like, and share. Gosh darn it, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. Okay, so I framed the bottom section. The next beams I'm gonna have to do is this, another one off this all the way to the top. And I always say, when you're coming off of an end, even though you think you could hit all your nails on the outside of it, on the inside of it, okay, kind of look like I know what I'm doing here. Exactly the same as this window right here. There's gonna be 2 windows right here, exactly the same. So the whole bottom part is done, which I done first. So then I'm gonna put the other one right on this all the way up, and one more on this all the way up. And even though you have your main stud right here and you have a stud right here, and you know you're gonna be able to get your plywood on from the outside, you got to make sure you have enough meat for your drywall on the inside. So I always put doubles on each side. So no matter what, I always put double 2x4s on each side. And if it's a funky corner, I actually put a third one on the inside. But there's 3 10-foot 2x4s I need to put up here. And then when I match it, when these are on the side, this ain't the king stud, this is actually a cripple or a jack stud. See, this one on the outside is the king stud, then here's a jack stud or the cripple right here that's holding the header. So that's what this is right here. But after I put the one on the back side of it, then I cut the header in place. All right, Murphy's Law comes in. It's nothing bad. I ran out of boards for the 2x6 header across the top, and let me tell you why. Because I bumped this main support back right here before I could run that span 8-foot joist across. Still got the jack there. I got the last one to hit in, but those are originally supposed to be 4 foot, and the washer and dryer were going to go on the back wall over there. Now the washer and dryer are going to sit on that wall all the way there, so we ran the supports further out this way. So also I measured down, everything's going to be 16 on center, and here is 8 feet from the end. Okay, this is a window right here. This is 8 feet from the end. So instead of installing another one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut the drywall, the board to end right here, and there's going to be a corner right here, and then with these 2 sections of meat and this over here, I'm gonna have an 8-foot one stand up right there, and then a 2-foot at the top right there. So that's all one solid piece. And then at the top there's gonna be 8-foot coming this way and 8-foot coming this way, where we don't need to have the extra one right here, but I still gotta double these up. So since I don't have those headers pieces right here, I had to bump this out by 1/2 inch over here, and I gotta bump this out right here, see, by 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna nail those in. I cut them back there already. I'm just gonna shoot those in with a brad nailer, what I did like this. And since I got this little giant ladder out, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot them in with a brad. Somebody feeds cats way over there, and I hear the little baby cats meowing. It's driving me insane. Don't say I hate cats, but I just hear that cat constantly meowing right now. Okay, this is my Rob. Everything's gonna be all right. Told you the other door is mounted into the 4x4. So for right now, I cut this part off. I replaced that, but I gotta get this even so I can sister up the other 4x4. You'll see this from far away in a bit. So let me put this on high and cut this with the vibrator saw. Ask me how good that saw works. That thing is beautiful. But this door is gonna have to get this door is gonna have to get moved over anyways, because I don't like it on the beam. I want it further in, because as you can see on the inside with 5/8 inch drywall, there's not gonna be any trim on there, so that's gonna have to get moved over anyways. What's going on, everybody? Rob here, Trev2323 on YouTube, TREV2323. Subscribe, like, and share. It's my episode of You Can Do It. Actually, I probably pay for this one to go up as an ad, but the other side is done. This is the whole front side. I gotta do the header for the door. I mean, for the windows, right there, the header. Look what I used. Harbor Freight, Black & Decker, Harbor Freight compressor. The wood from the big box store. Right now, I'd venture to say I'm about $400, $500 in of wood, because I got all the sheathing for it also. And then it's probably going to be about $500 for all the vinyl siding. Now, by far, I am no expert. You could do this too. Look at, you see that little gap right there? I mean, my cuts ain't completely all on right, but let me tell you this. See, like the floor, I gotta shave this all down right here. See the floor? This is the original 110-year-old floor. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna lay a floor over it, but with this, all this not matching up, this is what I got this for. Two things. This right here, a vibrating saw, is gonna make this all line up evenly, so the sheathing can go up. And for two, the morning that I'm gonna sheathe, I'm gonna have somebody come help me sheathe. All this I'm gonna put with caulk or liquid nail. Bam, liquid nail right there. Any little joint, any little seam, I'm gonna do with liquid nail in here and around there. But you only do it when you're ready to sheathe or whatever. I'm gonna have a bunch of tubes of liquid nail to put in here, put all the way down there, because that's gonna stop the air from getting inside of there. They say you need room to expand, room to this. I got the little things, 1/8 inch lines all the way across. But you also don't want air leaks, so the 1/8 inch lines on the outside, I'm gonna put silicone, 100% silicone on the inside. But little stuff like this, any little air leaks, I do not want. So I'm gonna fill all the little voids, and you could do this also with this little thing. Any little thing that's off or a little bit hung over, all I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut it out with the vibrating saw, and then make sure the sheathing can go on. Liquid nail it the day of liquid nailing, and then it's good to go. I'm gonna do videos on how to put these windows in, how to put the new door in. I do all kind of videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'm Trev2323.com. That's me also, but YouTube, Trev2323. Bye bye.